The next expansion for World of Warcraft may still only have a vague release date attributed to sometime on or before June 30th next year, but that hasn't stopped the hype for the second installment of the Worldsoul Saga growing exponentially. So I sat down with the art director, Ely Cannon, and technical director, Frank Kowalkowski at Gamescom to talk through all the best and brightest parts of the next expansion, Midnight, namely the hugely anticipated housing update. What awaits players in the Midnight expansion?
So many exciting things. I think housing is one of the main things we're very excited about, something everybody's been waiting for, players and us included. We're excited to finally bring something to the housing space, I think, that we're very proud of and we think players are going to really enjoy. And actually, we've seen in the booth on the show floor just how excited everybody is about it. Alongside that, we're refreshing old favorite zones in Eversong. Silvermoon City is getting a big update. Zulamon is coming back into play. We've linked them up to the rest of the continent. We're going to see a dungeon called Murder Row, if you remember this from the original game. So I think there's a lot of really awesome stuff. There's also a new spec for
there's a new
Demon
spec
Hunter.
for Demon Hunter, which is very near and dear to me. I play Demon Hunter, and I'm used to running up and smashing things in their face. And I'm happy to say Devourer somehow is a ranged DPS class that keeps that feel of mixing it up in the fray. Throwing Furious Void around, it's awesome. And housing, players have been asking for this since day one of World of Warcraft, and we wanted to do it since day one of World of Warcraft, and it's just been a very long time coming, waiting until we had the right design, we had the right vision for where we wanted to go with it, and this is the right time. And we've been able to watch people on the show floor here just doing amazing creative things that we didn't even envision. And that, to me, I think signals that I think we're headed in the right direction with it.
Where did you draw your inspiration from for player housing?
Well, certainly we draw inspiration from all sorts of places, but I think the number one place we draw inspiration from is our fans, and hearing the players of the game tell us what they want out of housing, what their expectations are. And then we as players, and both probably our harshest critics also, had very high expectations for what we wanted out of housing as well. So it's been a long journey to kind of solidify all of those and bring all of that visionary expectations together. But here we are. I'm pretty excited about feedback on housing, quite honestly, because a lot of as a Vengeance Demon Hunter, maybe I'm like, I need to be a immortal tank that's never going to die, right? I can provide that feedback. We're probably going to say, hey, we have to balance the game around upright, and we have to take that into consideration. With housing, we really can kind of loosen some of those restrictions, right? Like if people want to do crazy things inside of their house and inside of that play space, that's something that we can actually take a little more seriously or less seriously, I guess. It's something that we can be a little more permissive with, because we want that to be their space. We want there to be fewer rules inside of the housing system than we might have to maintain outside of it.
How important was accessibility when it came to introducing housing into WoW?
Accessibility and just freedom, I think, honestly, is one of the big themes we want. Something I have said frequently over the course of Gamescom is we will control every other part of the game and make sure that we're curating the most epic experience. We're handcrafting every single corner of the world, but this is one space we want players to have control over. We want them to be able to express themselves in their most authentic way, and to try to not put any restrictions or regulations any more than we absolutely have to, so people can really express themselves very freely, can do the thing they want to do, honestly.
We're already getting feedback from people who've been in there and they're like, I want to be able to do this and that and the other things. And we're going to have a very long roadmap for housing, and we want to share that with players, when we're ready to do that. This is going to be a long journey. This is just the first implementation. We just wanted to make sure that we nailed that, like Eli said, that freedom to put everything, to go out into the world. And we want to go out in the world, collect more stuff, bring it back. We don't want you to just, sit in your house and order things off of, some sort of virtual service to just bring stuff into your house and you never leave it. And we want you to go out. We want you to be inspired to go collect things. We want you to see other people's houses. We want you to go visit them. Go visit other neighborhoods, and we want you to see cool things and be like, I want that in my house. And how did you get it? Create, these opportunities for players to be social with each other, show off their creativity to each other, and then go out and explore the world to bring back the things that they really want for their house.
How do you balance introducing new visuals with maintaining the old classic feel of WoW?
Yeah, I mean, I think being authentic to the expectation of the players is a primary goal there. And in fact, we have people working on these zones that are truly like Blood Elf fans or really love trolls, so that they can really go in and have that same sense of ownership and importance and really feel like they're doing right by those places. I in fact worked on the old Silvermoon and Eversong back in the day. I'm so excited to see what the team has been doing with it, because it does feel very authentic, but of a modern fidelity now. It really feels like it can fit into the rest of the world, and I feel like it's going to give Blood Elves the home that they really have deserved for so many years.
How do you keep WoW accessible for new players given the extensive lore and history?
I mean, it's a challenge, right? Because we have, millions of people that want to play the World of Warcraft that's there today. And we also understand that, we have opportunities when we announce something big like housing, or just the World of Warcraft in general is out there, and people kind of know that it's out there, maybe don't necessarily always know how to get into it. So we do spend a lot of time talking about the new player experience, how to get people in, learn the game. And so we've revamped some of that over the time based on feedback from players to make that transition from, Exile's Reach, which is our introductory island, into the game a little bit easier. Returning players, people, who maybe haven't been around for an expansion or two and now are interested in coming back, we want to make sure that returning player experience is also very, very solid. But I think there's something about World of Warcraft that is always familiar as well. The game that is in 2004 and the game that exists today, you can look at the two different versions and go, yeah, that's World of Warcraft in both cases. But as Eli said, the fidelity is much higher. The gameplay has kind of evolved over the years. And I think that's, again, one of World of Warcraft's strength. It's a game that is always evolving, but is also always familiar. You're never like totally lost whenever you choose to play or come back. We always want to make it easy to get on the ride, right? Because you're right, you could very easily say this is year 20, but it's not like watching season 20 of a TV show and being lost, right? We want to make sure that you can come in, that there's an area that you can go to, the game that there's not a lot of pressure. You can learn how to play a class, and maybe you don't like that one, you just start over again with a different one, and you get to go through that same kind of patient tutorial, and then we'll put you out into the world with not a ton of pressure to do anything or get anywhere. Slowly introduce you to the game, hopefully begin to connect with other people. Because at its core, we believe WoW is played best with other people, but I think housing will also help with that, right? You're going to be able to get into housing fairly quickly as well, be able to get into a neighborhood, be able to meet other people.
That's one of the things I'm really excited about. Actually, housing, I think, will present a different style of gameplay for our game and will allow people to come in and have a cozy, casual experience, not feel like you have to go and be a raider or have to be the most hardcore of the hardcore, but just come in and live in the world.
What is the one midnight feature you're most excited about?
I'm really excited for the Heronir, actually. I think they're one of the more unique races that we've ever put into the game. It will provide players with another way to express themselves, and I think another opportunity to play the game again, like in a different way. And honestly, some of the customizations that we have for them are going to be really, really, really interesting and exciting for players to check out and explore. So that I'm really excited for. And we'll see some of their story and kind of their homeland too in the Herondar, which is one of the new zones that we're putting out.
What are some new mechanics being introduced in Midnight?
So definitely in Voidstorm, we're adding some additional features to some of our artistic tools and technologies. So we've been doing a lot of really interesting thing with skies, for example. Saw some of that starting to happen in War Within, and we're pulling that forward into the Voidstorm, which is going to have another extremely amazing sky. That's something we've been really investing in, is how do we extend our scenes to make our world feel bigger and bigger and really provide an ever more epic visual to the players. So I think that's going to be something really exciting. Another feature I'm really excited about is the ability to transmog a slot instead of a piece of equipment. So now you can immediately equip the newest gear you're getting without changing your look, which I think is going to be a really, really great user experience change. We've been trying to evolve it over time, adding more things that you can transmog, removing restrictions on like, hey, now you can transmog from one type of armor to another. And I think this is the next logical step, is really allowing people to define what their character looks like and progress through the game without having to go through the hassle of going back and transmogging it again, or putting your mount out to get your transmog NPC together. So I think that's going to be a huge quality of life saver for people.
What in WoW's future are you most excited about?
having been on the game for 19 years now, we've told so many stories, and we've started to tell the stories of so many unique peoples and places in the world. Even like the ethereals, we're talking about them in depth in the Koresh patch, you know. There's so many opportunities with War Within, and the trilogy specifically just talk about a lot of those loose ends that we've left over the years, to wrap those up, to tell the bigger stories now, and to really bring all that to culmination. So I hope that we can get back to telling the story of the people of Azeroth, and step back from some of the cosmic, big threatening world-ending things, and really start talking about local stories. I think, again, housing is going to be another place where we start to do that and really embrace what is the story of the people, what's the story of the player.
I think WoW's narrative is kind of rewarding on multiple levels, right? We have this massive cosmic battle against Xal'atath, the forces of the void, and everything that's coming in both Midnight and the Last Titan. But we also have, like back in vanilla, finding a pouch of oats for Blanchie, and getting your first like 4-slot bag that create like these little micro moments that everyone's always going to remember getting oats for Blanchie because of that moment. And so it kind of gives you that personal reward of having made an impact on that poor starving horse's life. But also, you get to play the role of a epic hero as you are fighting these cosmic forces.
How do you decide on what ideas to go with? Surely there's just too many.
We have so many ideas all the time. I think really what we're trying to do is tell the right story in the moment, and tell it in a logical order where it is a reasonable progression. And I think that's kind of where we're at here, right? We started introducing Xal'atath. Now in this one, we're really going to dig deeper into her, into the void, what her true intentions are. And it's that kind of continuous depth of storytelling that we're doing to pull out the details as we expose sort of the seeds of things earlier. And I think that's really the charm of the War Within, and the Worldsoul Saga in general. And now as we're into Midnight, we're going to be able to really dig deeper into some of those threads that we've set up previously, now really finishing them up, tying them up, and hopefully telling the stories that players want to hear too.
For more on World of Warcraft Midnight and the biggest upcoming games, subscribe to PC Gamer.